14th straight game last night here in LA against the Clippers. They have the best record in the league, and James Harden had the highlight of the night by making Wesley Johnson fall, then staring him down and hitting a three. Houston is still a half game up on the Warriors in the West. So my FS1 NBA analyst, Steven Jackson, welcome back.
Yeah.
So, before we get into the Rockets, what did you think of that ankle breaker play?
In the kitchen, twisting like a stir fry. Like the Migos say, he in the kitchen cooking. He was in the kitchen cooking. That's the best one-on-one player in the game. Don't feel bad, Wesley, because he do it to everybody. You just got put on the stage on TV in L.A. while he at home.
You like him better one-on-one than Kyrie?
Yes. I like James Harden. This is the MVP we're talking about right now, and he's having an MVP season. That's a great move by MVP. I'm not excited about that. I'm not excited about what he does to everybody. I want to see what they do later on.
Yeah, okay, cross him over is one thing. But to look down at him, like, get your butt up off that court. And then step back behind the three. And then to get a three ball to Teodosic. Because he ran out there because you caught that too. Because it was for him.
What else are you supposed to do?
No, I ain't running out there. You didn't finna get me in that shot.
That was awesome. That was awesome. That was a great move by James Harden.
Yeah, but James Harden got away with a little bit of a forearm to the chest push.
Always.
Just a little bit.
Always.
And I don't condemn Wesley Johnson. He's going backwards and he gets a little push back. I'm not going to call it, but I'm saying then he stumbled backwards. And I don't think he's going to lose any sleep, Wesley Johnson, over this, because to your point, I've seen better than that, what James has done to other people.
And then he put it between his legs, the step back with it. He waited on him, like, get.
The stare at him.
Yeah.
That's what really
gave him that appetizer, that fried calamari, because he knew the entree was coming, that three ball, the entree.
Okay, so the score at that point was 28-7 Houston, and that made it 31-7, which sounds like a football score. Yeah. And it was the last night in February on a Wednesday night. Okay, now how does that translate into the postseason? Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the postseason. Nothing at all. Like I said, he's having an MVP year, and he's been doing this the last couple of regular seasons.
Three.
Dominating.
Yeah.
That's not a secret. But we want to see what happens in the playoffs. Something always happens where they don't win.
Right.
You know, you have Chris Paul now, another dominant player. We can see if y'all can go tit for tat, score a lot of points, but you're gonna have to. They both gonna have to be on their A games to have any success in the playoffs. And I'm not saying that they just can get to the playoffs. I think that they can win the Western Conference.
Yeah.
The way they're playing right now, with Chris Paul playing at the top of his game, but if they're not at the top of their game, they're not gonna win it. They have to be at the top of their game.
Go ahead.
No, I want to know, Steven, how much do you trust? Like, I'll do a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the most. How much do you trust this team in the postseason?
I just have to say 5. Because I have to go by what history tells me.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of teams come in the playoffs and all that one-on-one stuff James do, they take that completely away.
Take it away.
Who else is going to beat us?
Right.
Yeah.
We got to see what they're going to do. But Chris Paul is supposed to be the answer.
Well, because the thing is, they're the only team that's going to get consistent. Because you shorten your bench come playoff time.
Yeah.
And so now you're going to get consistent point guard play. No other team can say they can get consistent point guard play. Great point guard play for 48 minutes.
Right.
Now, and the history says we've seen Chris Paul at another location not get it done. We've seen James Harden here not get it done. Okay, they're together. Now, if one of them have an off night, can the other bring them home? That's what makes Golden State.
That's the question, right?
That's what makes Golden State so difficult to beat.
Yep.
They got 7-foot KD, who's been an MVP. They got Steph, who's a 2-time MVP. I can make a case that Klay Thompson right now is the top 3, top 4 shooter all time in the NBA.
No question.
Either one of those guys can go off. If 2 of those guys go off, you're not beating them. I don't care what you do. And that's why Cleveland couldn't beat them last year, Skip, because KD averaging 35, Steph averaging 29. What you supposed to do with that?
Well, if you're the best player on the planet, you do a lot with that. You just say, I'm better than all of you put together.
No, stop it.
That's what Jordan would have said.
No, Jordan wouldn't see what he said. Now, you know good and well. Jordan ain't never played nobody that.
Chris Paul never played with an MVP either.
Right.
So this is why it's going to be interesting. Chris Paul never played with a caliber player like James Harden.
No.
Right.
So it's good to see how they're going to feed off each other, because Chris is a tough-minded kid. Everybody loves Chris, and he's super smart. So it's going to be good to see.
Well, you ain't like Blake, Christian Blake?
I love Blake as an athlete, but as far as a leader and an MVP, no. He's not taking no team to the championship.
Yeah.
Well, you love DeAndre.
I love DeAndre.
Yeah.
Huh?
He might end up in Cleveland.
I love DJ.
But first, we're going to kick the tires at New Orleans. See if y'all want this #1 overall pick and Kevin Love for old AD.
Yeah. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. We got
You probably already called New Orleans yourself.
We got to kick the tires and see. You never know. Hey, you might not want to sell that car, but if I make you an offer, you'll let it go.
Yeah. So the words that just came out of your mouth apply mostly to James Harden. You never know. Right. In the postseason, he can be crazy hot. He can be crazy cold, Siberia cold.
Yeah,
when he is off the planet off.
Right.
Like I've never seen anything quite like it because he just goes south and stays way south. Right.
Defense too.
On defense, well, I know.
Well, he's always
He's trying now. He's trying now.
He does look like he tries a little bit, but I just look at what he's doing this year. He's running away with the MVP. I don't care what you say. He's just running away with it.
He's walking briskly.
All right, walking briskly. So he's making 38% of his three-point shots, and by the way, 87% of his free throws, which is unlike that guy up in Cleveland. That is impressive because when you're leading the whole league in attempts by 33 and you're making 87%, that's a whole lot of points, man.
Yes, it is.
So 38% from three right here, right now in the regular season. And then I look at his postseason just in Houston, and he makes 32% in the postseason. Well, that's 6%. That's a lot of misses. It's a big dip, man.
Especially with as many threes as they shoot.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the same shot in the regular season that it is in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, it's 4 different levels of basketball. You got regular season, you got preseason, regular season, playoffs, and NBA finals. There's 4 different levels.
4 levels,
and the shots
and
get tougher.
because you have been through all 4 of those levels.
But here's the thing. This is what makes Golden State. You're talking about James Harden shooting, 38% from the 3, 87% from the free throw line, and probably in the mid-40s from the field.
Yeah.
Golden State got 2 guys on pace to shoot 50, 40, 90. And what you supposed to do with that? Now, Bird did it. Nowitzki's done it. KD's done it. Steph has done it. But we've never seen 2 guys on the same team in the same year do it. That's what they're on pace to do. That's what you're up against. That's what LeBron is trying to take down. Jordan never had to worry about that.
So let's look back at early James Harden when he was in Oklahoma City coming off the bench, even though he would play starters minutes. And we look at those 2 key games in the 2012 finals. OKC versus Miami. It's 1-1 going back to your place in Miami. These are big games by a team that probably you could argue was even more talented than LeBron, D. Wade, and Bosh. You know, because those 3 kids. Oh man, you want to talk about firepower?
Surge
and Surge on top of that was like a half a star. And look what James does in games 3 and 4. He plays high minutes, 34 minutes and 37 minutes, and he goes in game 3, 2 for 10 from the field and 0 for 4 from 3, and then 2 for 10 and 1 for 5 from 3 in game 4. And they lose both of them, and it's over because it's going to be over in 5 games. That was the early glimpse into what James Harden cannot be in the postseason. And then in Houston, 5 years in Houston. He's lost in the first round. He got to 1 conference finals. He got to 1 semifinals. But the point is, you look at some of the meltdown games that he's had. Let's look at Golden State. There was game 3 at Houston when they're down 2-0. This in the conference finals. And he shoots 3 for 16 and 1 for 5 from 3. And then in the closeout game against Golden State, he goes 2 for 11 and 0 for 3 from 3. And high turnover games. He had the one big, he had a 12 turnover game in that game 5 closeout game. 12, that's the playoff record for turnovers. And then, of course, last year, game 6 against the Spurs, there's no Kawhi, there's no Tony Parker, and he goes 2 for 11 and 2 for 9 from 3. And you're wondering, where was he? Well, he can disappear on a regular basis.
But with their big 3, with Capello, Paul, and James Harden, they're 31-1. The question is,
you're putting Clint Capella in big 3? His numbers have been highly impressive.
That's what they consider. So basically, with their 3 best players on the court together, they're 31-1. The question is, can this team beat the Warriors 4 times in 2 weeks? I think home court is more important to the Rockets than it is Golden State. But I just don't see it. James Harden is playing unbelievable. Chris Paul, he's had his difficulties in the playoff also because they blew a 3-1 lead to the Rockets.
Right. He's had a bunch of.
But KD, Steph,
and Capella, you're not going to get all them lobs, and you're going to have to catch the ball. This is what they're going to do. They're going to take the ball to James' hands right at half court. Well, Capella's catching that ball at the 3-point line. So now you got to make a play. You got to dribble. It's going to be
That's
chaos.
nice.
It's going to be chaos.
Well, you got Chris Paul.
I'm going to be a good coach. I can't wait.
Really?
I can't wait.
You want?
Oh, yes. Just staying around the game is always good.
Okay. Wow.
Well, you see, Mike.
You heard it here first.
Well, you know what you call him? Eddie Howe's son. They won the state championship
I
for the
know
third
they
year in a
did.
row. And his son had 30 points and 14 steals.
14 steals. He texted me 14 steals, and I said, I texted back, did you typo the 14? I thought it was 4. He said, well, he had 14.
14.
And they came back from like, what was it, going to the fourth
they
quarter,
were down a bunch.
20 something.
But look, it doesn't matter. As great as James Harden is playing, and he's playing phenomenal, it doesn't matter if they have the best record. If you don't win, if you don't upset Golden, if you don't dethrone Golden State, what is that?
Golden State has to win, too, now. You can't just give it to anyone.
No, but I'm just saying, hey.
They got to win, too.
But they got so much firepower.
They got a lot.
They got that heavy artillery.
They front runners, but, you know, it's a 7-game series. Who's the best in that series?
But that's the thing, though.
We beat the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
In Golden State, and we didn't have the team that they have.
No, but a KD, what you gonna do with that 35 a night? What you gonna do with Steph's 29 a night? What you gonna do with Clay's 20 a night?
Well,
that's a lot.
Draymond being the Rocket, kicking people in the
Yeah, but guess what? For James Harden, the better he plays in the regular season, the more the pressure mounts in the postseason.
Absolutely.
So he can run away with the MVP. And the better they play, and he's already said this is the best team he's ever played on. He did play on that Oklahoma City team. But again, in veteran star power.
Hold on. The team that LeBron took down 4-1? A gentleman's sweep? Oh, that was the best team.
Well, he's just saying we're smarter, we're older.
So he get kudos so LeBron get kudos for that, right?
I give him a chance. I give the Rockets a chance.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
4-2.
Man, I don't know.
4-2. I give him 2 games.
Earlier in the show, you were all on board.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Well, the way you're talking, it's going to be 4-0 in the finals because LeBron's going to get swept.
Whoa! See, there you go.
Am I right?
No.
Well, that's what you keep talking about.
No. I mean, that's why I'm going to.
You're trying to defuse the sweep that's coming.
I sent my construction crew to South Dakota. As we speak, they're pulling up to Mount Rushmore because they're about to do some renovation on that face to the left.
To the left?
That face to the left.
Really?
Because I told them, I say, hey, I'm going to give them the green light with LeBron. Hey.
Huh? And a 70% free throw shooter is going to be the left
74.
face? Well, he's.
Stephen, thanks for joining us. Have the Cowboys mishandled Ezekiel Elliott? We'll discuss that with Ray Lewis next.
From the director of The Fast and the Furious,